Hi everyone, welcome to today's creative workshop entitled Radiant Rainbows. I am Autumn and I am your creative coach. And if you're new to this page or if you've been on this page for a while, you will notice that I am a big fan of creativity and breaking out of the rules of sometimes of the things that we fall into, the ruts and kind of the way we've always created, branching out, finding new ways. And that as you do that, as you touch into your own creativity, you will touch into your own light essence, your own wonderful soul's diversity. So the rainbow is such a wonderful symbol of diversity, and that's how it's been used in many different places in our culture. And I always think the rainbow belongs to no one. The rainbow belongs to Mother Earth. So we, as an extension of Mother Earth, can choose to create with the rainbow in any way we want. And I've got 4 different unique fun crafts to teach today. I got a little inspired from other people. Some of them I actually came up completely on my own. So I do give you permission to take my ideas and completely make them your own. I don't think creativity should be patent. I think it should be an ever-evolving realm that we explore together. So I hope you have some fun learning these techniques and projects, and maybe you can do them with your neurodivergent loved one or family members or just on your own to recharge your system, to regulate, to enjoy the creative process. So I first want to show 3 greeting cards that Liam and I created with the rainbow theme and that can be purchased from our art studio. The first are these beautiful butterflies, just in time for spring. There's a little tie-dye center there. It could be a thinking of you card. It can be a birthday card. This one says birthday blessings on it. So that is one example. The next one, this was kind of fun. I got this idea from Pinterest. You cut and you tape on, after you color it, a little rainbow. You put clouds and a message. This could be a birthday card thinking of you. The front is blank for now, so it's a fun little way to have a pop-up rainbow. And then a friend gave me this idea and I kind of made it my own. She had drawn a hand with the color, so I printed out a template, colored it in, and we attached yarn and spelled the word beauty on the front. So there's a card you could give to someone. So those are 3 options that we have available in our art studio, $3.50 a piece. That includes shipping and handling if you order more than 12. All right, so to get started, our very first project is entitled Rainbow Gone Wild. This was my complete own idea, and I thought about how we are so used to drawing the traditional rainbow, right? Either in arc form or maybe sometimes straight. And I thought, what if we could be a little bit creative? And the rainbow behaves for a while and then it kind of goes wild. So Liam and I made the first 2 examples here. The rainbow is just contained, and then it hits this prism door and it breaks off in all creative patterns. That was just a colored pencil thing I explored. Liam did some cutouts and made some choices to make different designs with each of the colors. So that was his example. And I'm going to make one today using markers this time and some embellishments that I'm going to add to each color. So this is going to make it a little bit 3D. So if you have yarn, tissue paper, glitter glue, I have some washi tape, buttons. This is a great craft to involve those items in and help your loved one pick and choose how they're going to make their wild side of the rainbow. Okay? So pretty much we're going to start. Make sure you guys can see my project, and I will hold it up periodically. Kind of imagine the paper into 3s, and you're going to put a line 1/3 in. So here's my line. I'm going to make a regular rainbow on this side. I'm just going to use markers here. Traditional looking rainbow. Perhaps these are about 2 lines in thickness. Okay, I'm onto my green. And blue. And purple. Now, you can practice that fine motor skill with your child. It can be messy too. It doesn't have to be as perfect as this, remember, especially for anyone who has some fine motor challenges. I had Liam even cut strips and glue them on. So whatever you can do to make that kind of, looks like almost like a rainbow flag, right? Then it's going to hit this line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just rainbow go in all different kind of like swirl patterns and add different things to those. So, and they don't have to stay organized. They can kind of mix in together, cross each other. Don't have to be the same width. Just kind of as you start, just intuitively, this is how I like to create. Let the art piece communicate to you what to do next with the lines. So I'm literally doing this, whatever comes to me intuitively. And you know, as you make these, every single one can be different. So this is a craft you can repeat and change up every time. And I love projects like that that are a little bit more open-ended than just maybe following a tutorial and completing something exactly as it is. Okay. So yellow. We're going to have yellow swirl on itself and come around. I'm using markers for this one, but you could do colored pencils. You could even do paints. This could be on a canvas. I am going to keep them kind of maybe not touching each other, but close by. Coloring them in a little bit. Mine are looking like ribbons flowing out. So blue is next. And last color is the purple. As you can see, I've got this beautiful design going on. So that's the first step. I did the markers, 1/3 traditional looking rainbow little flag, and then a very wild side. And make sure you have that 2/3 so you can have a little bit more focus on the wild. Now I have some embellishments to add. So I have this washi tape that is mostly red. So I'm going to go ahead and washi tape. Oh wow, it's almost gone. So I'm going to actually glue it on since it's at the very end of it. And I think I'm going to cut it lengthwise since my ribbon is a little smaller, and just make some segments that I can add on to my red. Maybe just a few. And since it has cardboard on the back, I will go ahead and use some Elmer's glue. And so I'm just adding on I call these embellishments because they're just kind of the little extra design that can go onto your art project. One, two, three. All right. All right, so there's some little red designs. And then I actually have orange buttons to go on. I bought like a big giant collection of buttons, and so then I just sorted out some orange ones and kind of in a similar fashion. But maybe I'm going to put, you know, two of them closer together, not spaced completely like the first one. A little bit more unique. Okay, I got my buttons on. I don't want them to fall off. Buttons on that one. Then I do have a punch out with stars, and I went ahead. Liam had chosen this for his craft, so I went ahead and punched out some yellow stars. Punch outs are really fun. I have hearts, dots, and star items, and so that's a good skill for your child to learn with their palm, and then it makes fun little add-ons. So I'm going to go ahead and add on some of my stars here. This one had a nice curve in it, so I'm going to kind of leave that curve right where it was. If you're teaching any kind of lesson or something on the elements of nature or rainbows, you could throw a craft in like this with your lesson. It would be a great add-on. So there's my stars. I'm going to go ahead and use yarn. This is one of my son's least favorite things because usually when you're using yarn, you have to press your finger into the glue, and he does not like to get the glue on his hands. So, of course, choose the things that your child might like sensory-wise, and also you can challenge them, right, in the areas they might not. So I'm just going to actually add this like a ribbon to a side. Hopefully I did the right length. Maybe it's a little long. So basically, after I'm done with this, every single color will have a different three-dimensional embellishment. You go through all your craft supplies with your kids and find what you got and what you could use. Do a little planning ahead of time when you make this. Or maybe just in the spur of the moment, decide how you're going to do it. There's no reason why you can't, you know, do buttons on all of them or do washi tape on more than one. So don't have to follow the rules I'm necessarily using. I'm going to do the glitter last, which is actually for the blue glitter glue. I actually don't like glitter. I like glitter glue because glitter is messy. But for the purple, I got tissue paper. We're going to crinkle it up and just put it on random spots. Almost looks like little flowers when you do it this way. And then I do the glitter last so that I'm not putting my hands through it. And this will be a beautiful craft. Let's put on 5 more. And this skill is actually kind of difficult for my son, but it's a really good skill to learn how to take tissue and crinkle it. You could also do a rip paper idea and add things on. We did that. You could have an entire rainbow that was ripped paper after the controlled one. Or all tissue paper, whatever you wanted. So there are my tissue paper. It looks like little flowers on my purple. And I'm going to add some blue glitter. I think I'm going to make dots. And then we'll let this one dry. So this one is just super versatile. Lots of different things you could use, whatever you have at your house. Don't necessarily go out and buy stuff. I'm a big fan of just look for what you got and use it. And create something super fun and creative. Get the kids off the electronics for a while, right? So there is my Rainbow Gone Wild with lots of different options on the creative side. Okay, I'm gonna let this one dry and we're gonna move right on to our next one. Find a good spot here. Okay, so for the next craft, this takes a little bit more fine motor skill or planning on your part in case you wanted to help your child complete this. This is called Flower Power. I want to show you my examples and I'm going to show you how to create one. So this is my first example. I actually made this flower. I made a petal template and I traced it 8 times. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I colored it starting in the center. First I outlined with the black and then I colored it in like a tie-dye with colored pencils, just blending to the outer petals. Okay? And then for this one, I actually made like ribbons. I made the red in the center and then I went off from each side and did like the colors of the rainbow. So that was a little bit more intricate, a little bit more time, a little bit more meditative. So this is definitely for parents or for people who are working on maybe a little bit more fine motor craft. So let me show you how to make this. I'm actually going to make the template with orange so you can see. I'm going to make 2 different ones, 2 different templates so I can show you 2 different styles that we can work on. So I'm really going to freehand the petal. You can make it similar to my other one, which is kind of like a long, skinny oval. You can make it a little bit fatter, whatever you want. So I'm going to make a little fatter one here. Almost looks like a leaf. Okay, so there's my first template. I think I'm just going to stick with that as the template for both of the ones I'm going to make us here. Get all this stuff out of the way. So you're going to cut out your template. This is cardstock, so it's a little tougher paper. And then you could always go online and print out a flower template also, but it is fun to create your own. So let's get a piece of paper here. And basically, I'm going to go ahead and make it in the center. Imagine the center. You're going to do like north, south, east, and west first. Just do your best to line it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're just going to trace your template. Move it straight down. And I like to make mine 8 petals. You might want to just make yours 4. You can make it, a little bit more unique. You could try 6. But I like the 8 because then I can do north, south, east, west, and then northeast, northwest, north, south, all those. Okay. So this is the very forefront of the flower. So you trace it fully. So there's my first 4 petals. And what I'll do is probably, well, yeah, you can actually see when you line it up here, you can actually see what part to trace and what part you don't need to trace so that it's the back petal. So you're just going to basically center it up and then trace to the other petals. And these are the 4 behind. It's very simple once you have your template. It's going to look very symmetrical and uniform. Okay? So there is my flower. So the first thing I like to do is grab my Sharpie and go ahead and Sharpie it in And I put a black center as well. Now this project, you could use markers. I'm going to actually use colored pencils. I like the blending that I'll be able to do between the colors. So this is kind of like making that tie-dye looking color, as opposed to every color so separate. So very simple. There's my flower. That was so quick and easy to make. Just make that template hard enough that you can trace, and trace it 8 times. Okay, I'm going to erase any kind of pencil marks that maybe are showing through. And then you could start either with the last color of the rainbow or the first. Maybe I'll do it the opposite way that I did before. I'm going to go ahead and start with the violet first and just quickly go around about half an inch, I would say, depending. You want to kind of plan out that you want to use 6 colors. So whatever would be 1/6 of the way. There's that. Then onto the blue. It's going to blend a little bit in with the color before it. Liam is listening to his iPad about melting snow. We have a lot of snow here so far where we live. All right, so there's my blue. Moving on to the green. I'm just going to go kind of quickly here so it's not going to look as perfect if I was taking a long time on it. But you'll get the idea that we're just kind of fanning out the colors. All right, and then yellow. And this definitely practices a repetitive motion. So if your child gets this repetitive motion down, the back and forth, just kind of turn the paper with them, and round you go. All right, we do the orange and the red. This could look really cool on the front of a greeting card to give to a family member. Hang up somewhere in your house. Bring those bright colors in. Remind you of springtime right around the corner, right? All right. So I'm on to my red, which is kind of the biggest one because I didn't plan perfectly, but that's okay. Whatever happens is totally fine. So going around. And the second one I'm going to show you is how to make a shadow rainbow with a flower. And I might make a little smaller template just to show you the idea with that, actually. All right, so just quickly coloring in my final colors here. Some of my oranges need a little bit more shading. You can actually go back through and shade a second time. Usually with colored pencils, that's what I do. So make sure you're blending it the way you like. So, for today's purposes, I'm going to stop with that. Look how bright and beautiful that is. I think I liked it better going the opposite than this way with the red on the outside. So you can play around whatever you want to do with that. So I'm going to go ahead and make a smaller one so I can show you the shadow idea. So let's just make a smaller petal. Cut that guy out. So for the shadow, you're not going to even worry about the black marker. You do not need it. Grab a sheet of paper. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same tracing, but I will do some erasing after I do this part. So we're going to go north and south, east and west, and then you do your adjacent petals, just the top. So you'll notice this is a smaller one. And you can experiment with, you know, fatter pebbles or petals, skinnier petals. You could even combine two different petals on the same flower. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and erase all the lines in the center. And I kind of made it kind of darker than maybe I should have, so they're not erasing perfectly, but that's okay. All right, try to make them a little lighter when you do this craft. Then go ahead and trace the outside. I was going to say you don't have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it so that it shows up for you guys. Just trace the outer edge. You'll have a nice flower shape without the center. Okay, and then to make the shadow, you just start with the red, and you go around this side, coming out just basically the opposite of how you make it on the other flower. And these could be used, you know, if you had a heart template or stars, whatever, you could use this design, not just a flower, and have the rainbow kind of coming off the edges. It's just kind of fun to make your own flower. You know that it's your very own creation with those templates. And you can see right there, I've got the red. You're going to kind of keep it in a flowery shape. Let's see. I'm not going to make it too wide here. All right. And I might just do the yellow, and if I can find my yellow. There it is. Just so you get the idea, and then I can finish the other colors later. So this kind of looks cool. It's like a fire look with just the first three colors. You could always do that. You could break up some and have just the first 3 colors or the cooler colors. You know, no one says you have to always use all the rainbow colors together, right? So I'll show you this one with just kind of the fire look, so we can move on. Okay? So there's another way to do a flower power, more with the white center and fanning out the rainbow beyond it. All right. Let's move on to one of my favorite mediums to work with, which is acrylics. And if you don't have acrylics and want to use watercolors today, that's okay too. I will show you an example of Liam using watercolors. This is a rainbow sky, and he put the darker kind of rainbow or clouds on after doing the first layer, so that is totally an option. I'm going to actually pull out an acrylic board. It's kind of big, so you can see what I'm doing here. Get all my rainbow acrylics and white paint. I've got water. I like to water down my acrylics a little. It makes them easier to work with. And I've got paint brushes, but I wanted to suggest, Liam loves sponges. If you want to sponge these on, you can totally do that as well. The idea is this is called a rainbow cloud blend. We're going to make like a rainbow sky and blend the clouds into the different colors. So you get that idea of maybe a little bit of accent color and blending with the white. And I'll show you how to make a cloud. So we're going to start. Let's go ahead and start with red. I'm going to need red and white paint. I always have baby wipes nearby. Also, I'm going to use a bigger white acrylic so I can pour it out. Okay, so canvas is the best to work with acrylics because it's already acrylic covered, but you could also use paper. It's just going to dry really fast and the blending might be harder. So I'm going to take some red and just go across your page. I'll make sure you guys can see it. In the corner here, I'm just going across, adding some red as if it was like a sunset sky. And while it is still kind of wet and damp, I'm going to go ahead and maybe not use that brush because that brush is very red. Get another brush and get some white. Go ahead and start adding a cloud right away to the red. It might look a little pink. I'm kind of doing this up and down technique. And mine was pretty wet because I had put the water. So swirl it around. So what I'm doing right now is as I'm swirling it, I'm getting a blend of, it's looking kind of pink. So that's what you want. You want the white to blend with the color. Okay, so there's a very rudimentary beginning here with the cloud. It's got some pink in it. I'm going to let that one dry because I want to go back to it and add a little bit more detail. So let's go ahead and make an orange one. And eventually what I would do is fill this entire canvas up by slowly adding one of all the colors in the different kind of segments. So we're going to go ahead and put this kind of little bit down. Add a little bit more water to it. I'm actually going to give that just a second to dry and move right on to a yellow in an upper corner. And let's just put it straight on there without too much water so we can get that look. Just a back and forth technique to apply paint. This is a very bright yellow. All right, so I got those to work with. I'm going to rinse off everything here. And let's go ahead and use a sponge because I want to show you how you could sponge on clouds. And sponging is one of the easiest. It's just an up and down motion, so most everybody can do it. I'm going to take some white and I'm just going to sponge it on the orange. Even more white. And you know what? It is blending without a whole lot of work. With just that technique itself. So you're going to kind of get like that lighter, the white, the lighter orange, the lighter red, the lighter yellow with all of these blendings, and then we'll add a little bit more accent. So let's go ahead and add on some white. I need more white here to the yellow. And clouds are really fun because you can't mess up a cloud, right? It's like, just keep going. Just put it in a different direction. Imagine it goes a different way. All right, so there's my white on, I'll put it upside down here. There's my white on a yellow background. Okay, it looks a little rough right now. It looks kind of like different, but you'll see the idea as we blend more. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put some white right in the center here and make a cloud using some of the colors that are all around, kind of filling in the spaces. All right, so now I'm going to take some white and make like a real cloud outline on this orange. Acrylic does dry pretty fast, but not when you mix it with water. So I'll show you kind of the idea here. Clouds have, you know, inner dimensional looks as well as the out. So you want to kind of add that with your white and the way that you blend. So let's put one over here. You do want to do a darker one. Alright, so you'll kind of see on the orange there, I'm getting that more defined look there. So as soon as it dries a little bit, you can go back with your white and kind of add that definition. My red one's getting there. So the first layer of your cloud is going to be that real blended with the first color, and then you add some more white as it dries and definition. And then you put on some of all the different colors of the rainbow, and there you have it, a rainbow sky with different looking clouds that you don't really always see in nature, right? We're creating something that maybe it's a sky that you would see pieces of parts, but we're creating it all at once. So I put some more dimensional look there, and you can fill in white and the blended colors almost anywhere on your page. If you want to show some blues and purples for sure here. So let's go ahead and let those dry a little bit. They've got some of the dimensional look drying on them. We're going to go ahead and get some blue. See what my time, as long as I have time, I will do all 3 colors. All right, here's some blue. This blue is very powerful, so I'm going to go ahead right away and blend some white in with it. And afterwards, I'll kind of fill this in a little bit more before I show you guys the final product. So then let's do some purple. I'm going to put the purple actually right on here with some white. Let's go ahead and make some white and purple clouds right away with this paint right above there. Okay. I'm going to give it just a second before I get some more white. I just always find clouds super fun, super easy. I want to show you this way so you can see. I'll start with the blue. Let's just puff it up a little bit, round it up. Give it some dimension. Some areas are going to have thicker paint than others. That's the idea. And we'll kind of spread it. The blue looks kind of cool because that's like more of what we see the sky, right? Looks a little bit more traditional. Okay. So there's my blue. And I'm going to go ahead and do a purple one. A little orange in there. And, you know, just kind of do that swirl motion if you want. I'll get the swirls going. And I'll take my other brush for the white and add a little bit of that dimensional look. And I can add more of that dimensional look once it starts to dry more. And then, of course, we're missing the last color. So if I've got time here, I'm going to throw it on the bottom. Nice green. All right. I have my extra water. It's good to have like lots of paintbrushes around when you're doing acrylics, because even if you try to get the paint out of the brush, sometimes it is stubborn. So you don't want to accidentally put a darker color on a white. Use a brush just for white. So now I'm going to add a little bit more white to this and make a green cloud in the sky. All right, so there's a final cloud. So there's all my clouds, kind of random. And then you can just kind of take some white, take some of the colors that are remaining here, pull them into the painting. Just to kind of fill up the edges. Ooh. Get that blue. Ooh. So you could have a goal that you color the entire canvas. This is kind of a large one with rainbow clouds. You could have more than just the one color segment. You could have it go in a lot of different ways. You could do all the color first and then add clouds. I just wanted to show you guys the blending techniques with all the different colors. I'll probably be going on and adding more white, fluffing up my clouds a little bit more with dimension later. Okay, so there's my idea for a rainbow cloud blend. Have fun with acrylics and with the white. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit and we will move on to the final craft, which I think is one of my favorites. I had found this example on Pinterest and made it my own with a cloud and rainbow theme, and it is a gratitude rainbow design. And this is actually a meditative craft. You could do this and your loved one could do it with you too, especially giving you the ideas for what they're grateful for. And I'm going to show you my example that I created for the new year with my intentions for 2024. Let's get this all cleaned up for the most part. Okay, final product. Ta-da! So this is made with Sharpie and colored pencils. And I like to play with bubble letters, so I did bubble letters, but you don't have to do bubble letters. I'm going to show you without bubble letters. More in 2024. More hugging, reading, dancing, laughing, hiking, swimming, painting, dreaming, co-creating, traveling, walking, cooking, organizing, advocating, writing, watching movies, playing games, serving, crafting, meditating, and gardening. Okay? That's a lot. You don't have to necessarily do your gratitude craft with all of those. We'll do it a little bit more simpler today. So you're going to need a white sheet, just like mine. And I do want to show you the template I got the idea from. So it was actually a sun that looked like this, and it said, I am grateful for, or I thought you could use the phrase, I choose to focus upon, kind of like my intention. And then you write in each of these sunbeams and color them rainbow of what you're grateful for. And being specific is important here. This was kind of vague, but being specific. So I'll show you a little example with being specific. So first thing I'm going to do is make my rainbow cloud, and I'm pretty much confident I can do it with just freehand with a Sharpie. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make that cloud in the center. Okay, and it's going to say, I am grateful for inside. Dot, dot, dot. Now, it's important to have a ruler. If you want a straight edge or ruler to make your line straight, you're just going to basically start and fan out. I'm making these ones a little wider than the ones I made before. And rotate. They're not going to all be equal, and that's okay. I know it would be helpful if you at least have 12 or multiples of 6, because I did have to be creative on mine when the colors didn't match up perfectly, but that's okay too. Just kind of put, you know, not the two rainbow colors next to each other and you're good. All right. So easy enough. I have all my segments. I have my cloud in the center. Segments coming off. They're not all perfect. And now I can actually spend some time thinking and writing what I'm grateful for before I color it in. And this is something fun. We could blend a little bit of marker and colored pencil. So for instance, I'm going to write in with the marker and then color pencil. So my first one is laughing with my kids. It's not a super funny thing, but right now my daughter's axolotl is like rotated and he's hanging like upside down. He might have an infection or gas, we're not quite sure, but we did laugh about it as we're doing some things to take care of him. We also just laugh, like it is a kind of a funny thing to look at. So now that I wrote laughing with my kids, I'm just going to very lightly color that segment in with a red colored pencil. And what I'll do is probably go around writing the things in and then color these in later. So I'm not taking up too much time on here. You could be creative and put little designs in each of these too. You don't have to just have the solid color. You could do little polka dots or anything you wanted around, but there's where I kind of wrote in there with the darker marker and that. So the next one I might say is daily texts with my fiance. We like to send each other little emojis, gifs, messages, little funny blurbs. So daily texts with my fiance makes it on the what I am grateful for. And then I always think like yellow is kind of hard to see, so I'm going to use brown so you can see the words, because yellow on yellow you won't see anything. So the next one I might say cuddles with my kitties. I am grateful for them. I have a cat that likes to sleep with me in the middle of the night, and sometimes she's like waking me up, but still got to be grateful. So I did write that one in brown just so we can see the yellow after it. So, and then a green, freshly brewed coffee. They don't have to match the color in any way, shape, or fashion, because how many things are going to actually match the rainbow colors? So we're going to go with freshly brewed coffee in the morning. And then how about winter sunshine? I have been so missing the sun. So winter sunshine on the snow. I love how that looks. And I'm going to actually put heating blankets as my purple one, because our house can get kind of cold, and the heating blankets, snuggling up with those on a cold day is perfect. So I'm grateful for heating blankets. So there's the idea, and you would keep going, and you could do this with your family. You could do it as a craft together. Everybody adds something to it. Color it in your own unique way. It is a lot of coloring if you do a full page, so just be prepared to have those colored pencils and take your time coloring it in, but in the end it will look like this. All right, then you can post it somewhere up and you can kind of remember, you can redo it. You can do the sun version next if you want to do the cloud one first. So that is our final craft, the rainbow gratitude design. And I'm going to show everything, go a little recap here, and invite you to create with me, create some of these, post them on my page, take my idea and expand on it, do it in your own way. Tell us how you did it. Tell us about your student or your loved one. If they're neurodivergent like my son, I'd love to support you on your journey. So we're going to show, let's see, how's it working? Rainbow Gone Wild. Here's the first craft we did today. Making the traditional rainbow. Hit a point and go wild, and I added lots of different embellishments. The second craft was the flower power. Let's see. Creating your own petal using a Sharpie, shading them in with colored pencils. And here's the one I made today, which I really like the red on the outside. And then you can do like the shadow rainbow also, where it comes off of the flower and the flower remains white. So that is flower power. Number 3 is drying here. It is the Rainbow Cloud Blends. And I'll show you the one I made today. Add a little bit more white and probably a little bit, you know, in the spaces in between there, adding some color so the sky is all shaded in. Have fun with clouds. Sponge paint them, use acrylics, use some blending techniques, make them look 3D definition, and simple other with watercolors. I didn't do today, but Liam did this before. Watercolor everything and then add the flowers, the clouds on as a second layer. All right. And I did want to show, this was a rip art craft that Liam did, ripping the art and then pasting on a heart. We have Valentine's Day coming up. Might be really cool to include some hearts and Valentines, right? Hearts and rainbows. And he also created this where he wanted to do something with music. So we made a cloud boombox and some rainbow music notes. And he had the phrase, music really gets friends staying young. So that's something too. You can make a rainbow and include a positive or inspiring phrase on that. And of course, we love the greeting cards because they're so versatile and you can send them to anyone for so many other the holidays of the year. So, all right, that will conclude today's workshop. And for a limited time, I am getting on live with people and creating any of these projects with you to assist you. My cat's like, I want to eat that project. To assist you in the process, to have that like camaraderie and the friendship while we're creating. And I'm doing that free right now. It's called Recharge and Regulate. It's a session. We get online and we do it together. You pick the crafts you want to do. You can bring a loved one or a client, and Liam helps out a little bit and shows what he wants to do. We might do something similar to you, something different. And then every month I'm going to have a different theme so that it will change up. And that the next month you'll have those 6 crafts to do with you want. And everything is free right now with this until February 14th. Then it will be $22 an hour to get on and create art with me. Still a bargain. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for creating with me and supporting us here at Thriving Heart Studio.